Have you ever felt like no one truly understands you? Like you're surrounded by people, but somehow you still feel invisible, as if you're screaming in a crowded room and no one even notices. Or maybe there was a moment when someone you deeply cared about was struggling, and you wanted to help, but you couldn't find the right words or gestures. And later, that memory stayed with you, making you question if you could have done more, been more. It's a heartbreaking feeling, isn't it? To feel disconnected, as though the world around you is moving too fast and you're just standing still, unable to bridge the gap between yourself and others. We live in a time where communication has never been easier. Texting, video calls, social media. And yet, somehow, genuine connection feels harder to find. Why is that? Could it be that we've become so focused on being heard that we've forgotten how to truly listen? What if the real problem isn't that others don't understand us, but that we haven't been shown how to deeply connect with them? Here's the truth that no one tells you: the ability to form meaningful, lasting relationships isn't something you're born with, it's a skill you can learn. And the key to mastering that skill lies in one simple but life-changing concept: empathy. Empathy is more than just being polite or nodding your head while someone talks. It's not about saying "I understand" without really understanding. It's about stepping into someone else's world, seeing life through their eyes, and feeling what they feel. It's about bridging the emotional gap that separates us and creating a connection so real, so raw, that it transforms both you and the person you're connecting with. But here's where it gets interesting: most people completely misunderstand empathy. They think it's soft, that it makes you vulnerable or even weak. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Empathy is strength. It's the power to influence, to inspire, to connect in ways that others can't. It's what turns good leaders into great ones, acquaintances into lifelong friends, and ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Let's talk about something we've all done. Think back to the last conversation you had with someone. Were you truly present? Or were you thinking about what you were going to say next, waiting for your turn to talk? Be honest, most of us fall into this trap. We're so focused on being understood that we forget to understand. Real listening isn't just hearing the words someone says. It's hearing the emotion behind those words. It's paying attention to their tone, the subtle pauses, the way their body moves as they speak. Sometimes, what someone doesn't say speaks louder than what they do. The next time you're in a conversation, try this: instead of planning your response, just listen. Let their words wash over you, and focus on what they're truly feeling. Is it frustration? Sadness? Joy? When you can identify their emotions, you're no longer just having a conversation, you're building a connection. And here's something powerful you can try. When someone shares something with you, repeat it back in your own words. If your friend says, "I've been so stressed at work lately," you might respond with, "It sounds like work has been overwhelming for you." It's such a small gesture, but it makes a huge impact. It shows that you're not just hearing them, you're understanding them. And in a world where most people just want to talk about themselves, being truly understood is a rare and precious gift. Now let's address something that many people get wrong about empathy: the urge to fix. When someone opens up to us, our first instinct is often to solve their problem. We want to give advice, to fix what's broken. But here's the thing: most of the time, people don't need solutions. They just need someone to sit with them in their pain, to say, "I see you. I hear you. I'm here for you." Instead of rushing to fix, try sitting with their feelings. Say things like, "That sounds so tough," or "I can't imagine how hard that must be." It's not about solving their problems, it's about letting them know they're not alone. There's an even deeper level of empathy, one that most people never tap into. It's called empathic imagination. This is where you don't just put yourself in someone's shoes, you fully immerse yourself in their experience. Imagine not just their situation, but their emotions, their fears, their hopes. For instance, if someone loses a job, don't just think, "That must be stressful." Close your eyes and imagine sitting in their home, staring at unpaid bills, feeling the weight of uncertainty about the future. Imagine the shame, the anxiety, the sleepless nights. When you do this, your responses become so much more genuine and meaningful, because you've taken the time to truly understand their experience. Empathy isn't just about emotions, though. It's about action. Feeling bad for someone is sympathy. Empathy drives you to do something about it. Maybe it's a kind word, a helping hand, or simply being there in silence when someone needs company. Empathy in action can transform lives. It can be the difference between someone feeling isolated and someone feeling supported. And here's the part you might not expect: practicing empathy doesn't just help others, it helps you. Studies show that people who regularly practice empathy are happier, more fulfilled, and even physically healthier. Why? Because empathy strengthens relationships, and strong relationships are the foundation of a meaningful life. When you connect deeply with others, you feel less isolated, more supported, and more capable of handling life's challenges. The beautiful thing about empathy is that it's not a talent you're born with, it's a skill you can cultivate. Like any skill, it takes practice, but the rewards are worth it. Start small. In your next conversation, focus on listening more and talking less. Pay attention to the other person's emotions. Resist the urge to fix their problems. Just be present. Offer your understanding, your support, your presence. As you embrace empathy, you'll notice subtle but profound shifts in your interactions. Conversations will no longer feel like surface-level exchanges, but will transform into meaningful dialogues filled with trust and understanding. People will begin to see you as someone they can rely on, not just in moments of joy, but in times of difficulty and vulnerability. You'll become a safe space for them, a person who truly sees their worth and acknowledges their struggles without judgment or pretense. This shift doesn't just deepen your relationships, it enriches your soul. Empathy teaches you patience and the beauty of silence. It shows you that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for someone isn't to say the right words, but to simply be present. To sit with them in their pain or their joy and let them know they are not alone. Over time, these connections become the foundation of your most cherished memories, the laughter shared, the tears wiped away, the moments where no words were needed because the bond between you said everything. And as you grow in this journey, something even more incredible happens. You start to see yourself differently. By understanding others, you gain the tools to understand your own feelings. You become more attuned to the nuances of your emotions, recognizing your fears, your joys, and your own need for connection. This self-awareness empowers you to face life's challenges with a greater sense of resilience. You stop seeing emotions as weaknesses and begin to appreciate them as the threads that weave the fabric of your humanity. Empathy also helps you let go of past hurts. When you truly understand someone else's struggles, it becomes easier to forgive, to let go of grudges, and to move forward with an open heart. You begin to realize that we're all imperfect beings navigating a complex world, and this realization fosters compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. You start to give yourself the grace and kindness you so freely offer to others. Imagine a world where everyone practiced empathy. A world where every interaction, no matter how small, was filled with respect and understanding. Where strangers smiled at one another with genuine warmth, and conflicts were approached not with hostility but with a desire to understand. That world starts with you. Every time you choose to listen instead of dismiss, to understand instead of judge, you're planting a seed of change. And as those seeds grow, they create ripples that spread far beyond what you can see. The beauty of empathy lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary talents. It's in the little things, the way you greet someone with a smile, the time you take to ask how they're really feeling, the effort you make to truly listen. These moments may seem small, but they have the power to transform lives, including your own. When you practice empathy, you become a beacon of light in a world that often feels dark and disconnected. People are drawn to you, not because of what you say or do, but because of how you make them feel valued, understood, and loved. You become a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in a world filled with noise, there's still room for kindness, understanding, and connection. So take that first step today. Start with one conversation, one act of understanding, one moment of presence. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be genuine. And as you continue on this path, you'll discover that empathy is more than just a skill, it's a way of living, a way of seeing the world, and a way of creating a legacy that truly matters. Because in the end, it's not the things we accumulate or the titles we achieve that define our lives, it's the connections we make, the love we share, and the lives we touch. And the power to build those connections, to share that love, and to touch those lives starts with you. It starts with empathy.